It's time now for County-Wide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Brad Miller as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives here in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's County-Wide.
Welcome to County-Wide. I'm Paul David. So good to have you in studio with us today. This month, we're kind of taking a look at local areas that you may have visited in the past, but haven't done so in the near, in the current time or in the near future. We want to make sure you do that. During the recession, there's been a lot of talk about staycation. Instead of going away on vacation, people have been kind of staying at home and doing staycations. So last week we talked about the Verde River Greenway, which attaches to Dead Horse Ranch State Park, and George Christensen, the park manager, is in studio today. And so we're going to kind of look at Dead Horse Ranch State Park, someplace I have not been in several years, but I have very good memories of that place, Dead Horse Ranch State Park. Welcome to studio.
Well, thank you, Paul.
Good to have you here.
It's
good
nice.
to have you here.
It's nice to be here and be able to talk about Dead Horse.
Yeah, it's a local area. It's just right there. It's a beautiful place. And I think we kind of forget about our local attractions that we have. So I think we've got, we're going to talk about Fort Verde and Montezuma Well and Castle and a few other locations locally that people should go back and revisit and refresh their memories. You're going to refresh our memory. We've got some history on Dead Horse Ranch State Park. It's such an interesting name.
It is.
And it totally comes, I think, from the Wild West. It's just got that feeling to it. So give us a little history on Dead Horse.
Well, Dead Horse got its name. The Irish family came here from Minnesota, and they were looking at ranches to buy in Arizona, and so they visited multiple ranches around the state, and they came to one particular one where they found a dead horse lying along the road, a big dead horse, and it caught their attention. And so when Dad Iries asked the children which ranch the kids would like to buy, they said the one with the dead horse lying along the road. And as part of that condition to sell, when the state parks wanted to buy that in 1973, the Irish wanted to sell that and didn't want to see it develop. They wanted to keep it open, so people could enjoy it.
Sure.
They made that a condition of sell to retain that name, Dead Horse Ranch. And so that was
as simple as that.
As simple as that.
As simple as that. Now, let me ask you this. This just popped in my head. Are there any ranch buildings from, when did they purchase the ranch, the family?
The family purchased it in the late 1940s.
Okay.
And then State Parks acquired it in 1973.
What buildings are still there from?
There actually is no buildings there still
okay.
from there. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was mainly, a lot of the ranch land there and
Sure.
farmland, and that was all that was left from there. So.
And so now it's all a park. The whole thing is
it's all park. Yeah. It's 423 acres there.
Wow, that's a lot to cover.
It is. And it makes for a really nice sized park. It's manageable, has a lot of great amenities there.
How many people do you employ there?
We have 7 there.
Okay.
And then we really rely a lot upon our volunteer force there as well. We usually try to keep both on-site and off-site volunteers that come in locally from town. But during the winter months when we're really at our peak visitation, we try to have about 18 or so volunteers giving us a hand there.
So does your volunteers have a name for the volunteer group? They're just Dead Horse Ranch State Park volunteers?
Exactly.
Okay, local people though.
Yeah.
Do you need more?
Always looking for more volunteers.
It's amazing how everybody always still needs volunteers, huh?
Absolutely, and they can do that by going on to azstateparks.com and going to Dead Horse and applying online or coming out to the park and seeing us as well and take an opportunity to volunteer. It's very rewarding, they find.
I feel like I'm getting off track with some of the questions I had, but so what do the volunteers do when they're at Dead Horse?
They do maintenance, everything from helping us with janitorial needs to mowing to welding projects, depending on what our needs are and what their expertise are.
Okay.
They help us lead guided hikes, just a lot of neat stuff as far as interpretive education as well.
You've got some quality fishing out there too, and I know several years back we added some lagoons to the park, but it used to be just that first lagoon. My personal story of the first lagoon is when I first met my wife, we went fishing there. And I brought my great big tackle box with all my expensive gear in it and my fancy fishing pole, and she had her simple little crappie buster pole. She put corn on her hook and stuck it out there, and she caught one. I was busy going around with my spinners and couldn't get a dang thing to bite the whole day long. She caught her limit and I did not. and we didn't have our stringer that day, and I actually used the string from my my hoodie to be the string catcher, and that was 15 years ago. That was 15. So that's one of my fond memories of Dead Horse Ranch State Park, and I'm sure a lot of folks have those memories of Dead Horse Ranch State Park. Now that was the old lagoon.
Correct.
And then you've got extra lagoons down there, too.
We do. We have a total of 24 acres out there. We have 3 lagoons. Back in about 2004, they were finished, the additional 2, and including the original, they were all, the original was dug out, made bigger and deeper, and then we got 2 additional for a total of 24 surface acres out there. And they're wonderful. You know, they have good depth. They allow for great opportunity to put trout in there during the winter months. We start stocking with the help of Game and Fish. They bring them out starting usually the end of October, first part of November, and we'll continue to stock throughout March. And it's every 2 weeks. You cannot beat the trout fishing out there during the winter months. And so we have people coming up from, you know, Surprise, the Valley, all over, because the all the mountain lakes are all closed due to snow.
Right, right.
And so you can't beat the fishing. The fly fishermen really love it. They come from all over, bring their float tubes and their catarafts, and go out and fly fish on it. And the spin casters do just as well, and as well as the youngsters with the you know, bait fishing. It's just a great opportunity. We have nice platforms around there for those that have mobility challenges. So it's very accessible. We have a nice boat ramp for those that want to bring out canoes and kayaks and spend time on the water.
There's no speedboats, no power motors, anything like that.
There's no motors at all, not even electric trolling. Those are prohibited. We do just allow oar-powered and paddle. And of course, like I said, the float tubes are a real big hit.
Yeah.
Also during the summer months and even into the early spring and fall, you start picking up the bass. Like right now, the bass fishing is absolutely just
They're
wonderful.
probably bedding, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah.
They are, and they're just picking up really nice large mouth bass out of there right now. We just had one caught a couple weeks ago that was over 7 pounds from a nice.
No kidding.
Yeah, from a nice young local girl. It was her very first fish at all.
Are you serious?
I am totally serious.
Her first fish, and it's a 7-pound bass.
7-pound largemouth.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, most of us can fish our whole life and never catch something that big.
Well, so far, yeah. So far in this
so.
life, yeah, I have not.
But and then just a couple weeks prior to that, we had a 13-pound largemouth. So you just can't beat the
Really?
fishing.
Now they putting them back, or they keeping them?
They all mostly put them back.
Okay.
You know, it is a sport fishery, so they are welcome to take them. But it's nice to put those larger fish back so they can continue to nest and continue to keep a lot new fry in there. So.
What does a 7-pound bass eat? Anything it wants.
Just about anything. I think he's been eating a lot of those trout, just like the catfish do. You know, because the trout don't survive through the summer months, and so they become feed for both the river otters and the larger fish in there.
So you have the otters. Do they come into the lagoons as well?
They do.
Oh,
they come up out of the river. We have regular river otters in there. It's just a great find. You know, people, you know, they are a protected species, and most people never in their lifetime get to see it. And they are so plentiful in the park, both in the river and in the lagoons. And they're not the least bit shy. They do like to.
I've had one come up to me in the Verde River. It's amazing. You know, when you see them swim by, they don't look as big. But when you're waist deep in the river fishing, and one pops up just a few yards in front of you, and you look at the size of its head, you realize you're a substantial animal.
They are. I mean, they stand quite tall. I mean, they blow you away, and they have a lot of mass to them, and an awfully large tail, too. Gosh,
that's amazing.
But yeah, it's neat to be able to see that, and to see them come back so well.
7 pounds, her first fish.
Yes.
Lucky girl, lucky girl. Now, in the summer, you switch from trout to, you know what? We should take a break. Let's take our break, okay? Dead Horse Ranch State Park Manager George Christensen in studio today. I'm Paul David. This is Countywide. We'll take a quick 2-minute break, and we'll be right back.
I would steal pills from my friend's mom.
We talk about all the common drugs, but never prescription medication.
I was addicted to pills.
Had I more knowledge, I would have done things differently.
Secure your medications and talk with your kids. Visit drugfree.org.
Thanks for calling the GED Pep Talk Center. Jerry Stiller speaking. Your level 7 in-your-face pep talk.
I can keep pushing. Believe me, I'm good at it. But at some point, you're going to need to start pushing yourself.
See, once you've got your GED diploma, you'll feel so good about yourself.
You tell them. You can't change your past, but you can definitely change your future.
That makes me so happy, I'm ready to bust out a dance.
Mr. Trejo, can I transfer this guy to you? My gentle technique isn't really working. You need something a little more
persuasive.
Yes.
You listen, and you listen good.
Hey, where's my sandwich? Terry? Terry!
Take it from me, the King DMC. This a real cool thing to get your GED.
Get that diploma!
Now hold on and we'll find you free GED classes. Capiche?
Whatever motivation you need, we've got a pep talk for you. Get your GED pep talk and find free classes at yourged.org.
A single ember from a wildfire can travel over a mile. That ember can ignite and destroy your home or community. You can't control where that ember will land. Only what happens before it does. Visit fireadapted.org to learn how you can help protect your community from wildfires.
Ronnie had huge aspirations.
He knew he could get pills in the community.
He found his body in an apartment in Telford.
I never thought my son would take prescription drugs without a prescription.
Secure your medications and talk with your kids. Visit drugfree.org.
Welcome back to Countywide. George Christensen with Dead Horse Ranch State Park in studio with us today. We're trying to get you to go visit some of our local hot spots in the Verde Valley this month. We switch fishing from trout in the winter to something totally different in the summer.
That is correct. The water gets too warm for the trout, and then therefore it becomes a warm water fishery, and people start targeting the largemouth bass, you know, especially right now with the spring, and they're very active and pretty much strike just about at any bait.
Yeah.
It's an exciting time, especially for topwater action. Also the catfish, we just got stocked with them just this last week. That's always a great hit for all the local fishermen, putting in those nice channel cats. They're beautiful fish. They're running, you know, about 2 to 3 pounds, but there's some bigger incentive ones that I've seen that were easily 5 pounds plus.
I know those 2 to 3 pounders, though, taste really good.
They really do.
Yeah.
They really do.
That's good size. Where do those come from?
Those actually come from Mr. Fish in Arkansas.
Okay.
Yeah, they have really good stocking and have just raise excellent catfish. And those actually, they stock all over the state of Arizona or in the different urban lakes, and
I did not
also
know
get
that.
So,
okay, so they truck them in all the way from Arkansas?
All the way from Arkansas.
Okay.
Yeah. And they have a good survival rate, and they just are very vigorous. And then we also will get another stocking just prior to National Free Fishing Day, which is in June.
Okay.
And so they're going to have a great year this year with this extra stocking that we already got just recently, so last week.
And I imagine some of those fish are feeding off the trout that are, you know, starting to die off from the winter months.
Absolutely, yeah. The catfish, the bass, they all eat them, those bigger ones. And of course, you know, those catfish and as well as the bass are feeding on the sunfish that are in there as well. So
yeah,
and there's plenty of those.
The circle of life is happening in those lagoons.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, if I'm not a fisherman, there's other things. There's a lot of other things I can do. Now, Max Castillo was here last week, and we talked about the Verde River Greenway, which is just amazing. He made it sound just so spectacular, which of course it is. But right there at Dead Horse Ranch State Park, you guys have got some trails too, correct?
We do. We have a lot of great trails within the park. Some of the more favorite ones are, you know, for the birders are down there at our lower day use area next to the river. There's one that's called the Canopy Trail, and that's 1/4 mile, and it's ADA accessible, and it has feeders on there, and it's just a great spot because like I say, we use that for those that like to do armchair birding.
Okay.
And it's all underneath the canopies, very cool, and it's just a great environment under the cottonwoods and willows. And then you have the forest loop that's about 1/2 mile, and it also is down along the canopy and gives you access into the river, all along the river there. The Verde River Greenway Trail, it's a huge hit because you're following along the river there, all within the park. couple miles long. And it's just got great views of the river and a lot of birding, and you also see all the beavers action at work. You know, they're damming up the river all up and down through there and making really good fishing holes. And,
okay.
Yeah, and they also live in the lagoons as well, and so they have a good opportunity to see the beaver and otters as well as when they're on the Greenway Trail. Another really favorite one is to do the quail or the Hickey Ditch Trail. Those are tailwaters that come off the Hickey Ditch, which we use to fill the lagoons. Hickey Ditch was begun clear back in the late 1800s, so we've had, you know, it's a really old ditch.
Okay.
Anyways, that is how the Dead Horse was always irrigated, as well as now it's currently a lot of the areas are irrigated and also done to fill the lagoons. And we have multiple tailwaters that make nice riparian areas that go down to the river as well. And those provide a lot of habitat for the birds and wildlife. And those cottonwood willow galleries are really a great place for the wildlife. And so it makes a great place to walk under. There's also some trails that leave the park and go up into the uplands that go out in the Coconino National Forest. And those are great for mountain biking. We have the Raptor, Thumper, Limekiln Loop there that's been around for a number of years. It's very popular with mountain bikers. It's both single track and double track. It's also really a favorite for equestrian users.
How long is it?
That one is a little just shy of 8 miles.
Okay.
And then there's multiple loops that go off. There's over 20 plus miles of trails that are out there.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so there's a great network. You also have the Limekiln Trail that goes all the way from Red Rock State Park to Dead Horse, which is 15 miles long. And that follows the old historic Limekiln Trail. And there's an old lime kiln on that trail as well, where they actually made the mortar, you know, for a lot of the old homes in Cottonwood.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a nice little day trip right there, right?
It is.
Yeah.
That's a good hike. It's really good. It's best if you start out at Red Rock and walk back towards Dead Horse.
Downhill, huh?
Downhill.
Go downhill.
It always makes sense. And so you don't have to do any doubling back. But there's a lot more trails out there too. They've just been completed by the Forest Service and friends groups. You've got the Bones Trail, Rust Bucket. There's just constantly new trails going in out there. And so it's a mountain biker's paradise out there.
Now, what kind of shape do I have to be on some of these trails? Because you hear about people going on these trails and they've looked at a book and it says it's easy.
Yeah.
And they get out there and all of a sudden search and rescue is called because it's not easy. So
you need to know your limitations. You need to certainly inquire from the ranger station, and you know, intermediate is what they're pretty much rated. Okay. And so, but you need to know your abilities and don't overexert yourself and do it, because you don't want to have to be. We don't want to have to go out and rescue.
Right.
We've done plenty of those, and it's not always a fun thing. So, but make sure you have your water. Like I brought my fanny pack here. You know, you have your water, have your granola bars. You need to have that sugar and stuff too. You know, so you can. Take and process that water, and don't push it beyond your limits. So
exactly. So okay, you've got trails for hiking, birding, mountain biking, equestrian. You said
correct.
So I could go horseback riding in there. Wow, let's take another break.
Sure.
Okay, let's take another break. George Christensen with Dead Horse Ranch State Park is in studio today. I'm Paul David. This is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Listen now, can you hear the bluebirds? Oh, look up now, can you feel the sun? Whoa, 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 can you feel the sun?
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. Okay. So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And I'll try to get the generator going without any gas.
Oh, let's not forget the cell phones, which probably won't work.
Right.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
Well, I think we couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Welcome back to Countywide. A couple minutes left in the program. We talked about the fishing, the hiking. How many acres? 423?
423
423 acres at Dead Horse Ranch State Park in Cottonwood. It's right here in our backyard. We need to go visit that as often. How much does it cost to go into the park?
It costs $7 just for a day use entry to come into the park. If you go into camp, it's if you go to a non-developed site, which is our Black Hawk tent camping sites, those are $15 per night. And then we also have sites that have 30 and 50 amp service as well with electric and water. And we have Black Hawk, you have Cooper's Hawk, Redtail, and Quail. And Quail Loop is 30. Those are premium sites. And the other two loops are just $25 a night if you're coming with the RVs.
How many people can camp out there total?
We got 150 campsites out there.
Okay. And can we do campfires?
You can still do campfires as long as it's not on a windy day, a red flag day, because it is in a developed campground. So it makes it very popular still, even especially with the forest, having those restrictions for the dispersed camping. And we also have camper cabins that are very well liked. We have 8 of those, and those are $55 a night, and they have heating during the winter and air conditioning during the summer. They sleep 4 comfortably. They have a bunk bed, a double bed, table, chairs, and then also you got to do all your cooking outside, and they're just really enjoyable, right close to the river. And
can we reserve spaces? Okay.
You can do reservations by calling the park or our Karchner call center.
What's your number?
The reservation center is 520-586-2283.
Okay.
And of course the park phone number as well is 928-634-5283.
Okay.
And so either way they can, and then we also have the group camp area that is great for larger groups. There's 23 sites there that you can have that exclusive to yourself. You have a Ramada and nice restroom facilities with showers, and each one of our loops also has that as well. And then there's equestrian. You can also, as equestrian users, they come out there and they can reserve the group camp or our other corrals, and that's very popular with those coming in off the road as well as other local groups using them.
Wow.
So.
Well, we filled that 30 minutes up fast, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah, let me give those numbers again. Okay, 520-586-2283 is the number for
the Karchner Call Center.
The Karchner Call Center. And then the local number for Dead Horse Ranch State Park is 634-5283.
Absolutely.
And you can get more information about Dead Horse Ranch State Park. Max Castillo said something last week that really stuck in me. He says, when you're in Cottonwood or one of the cities, you're in a city. He said, but as soon as you step on that Verde River Greenway, you step into Dead Horse Ranch State Park, all of a sudden, you just don't hear it anymore. You don't see it anymore, and you are actually outside in nature without being too far from your own front door. And it really makes sense to just go visit Dead Horse Ranch State Park. George, nice seeing you again.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming in. Good show. Good job. That's today's Countywide. I'm Paul David, and we will talk to you again next time.